Who is Gregg Berhalter talking about, Gio Reyna or Weston McKennie? Berhalter said one of 26 players was not meeting expectations at the World Cup. USMNT head coach Gregg Berhalter gave fans a lot on which to speculate Sunday after telling the story of a mystery player who he nearly sent home from the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar. Berhalter, 49, explained how one of his 26 players was not meeting expectations at the World Cup, according to Kevin J. Delaney of Charter. When asked about how he handled difficult decisions around performance, Berhalter gave an example from the team's participation at Qatar 2022. In this last World Cup, we had a player that was clearly not meeting expectations on and off the field, Berhalter said, one of 26 players, so it stood out. As a staff, we sat together for hours deliberating what we were going to do with this player. We were ready to book a plane ticket home. That's how extreme it was. And what it came down to was, we're going to have one more conversation with him, and part of the conversation was how we're going to behave from here out. There aren't going to be any more infractions. Gregg Berhalter was talking about Gio Reyna. Fans on Twitter quickly started throwing out names like Gio Reyna and Weston McKennie as possible players who Berhalter might have been talking about. Reyna, 20, is a young star who did not get nearly enough playing time in the World Cup despite being one of the best talents on the team. He plays for Borussia Dortmund and could have been a difference maker for the Stars and Stripes early on in the competition. According to anonymous sources of The Athletic, Reyna is exactly who Berhalter was talking about. The young player was reportedly showing no energy in training sessions and scrimmages ahead of the World Cup opener against Wales. McKennie, 24, was also a common name among those speculating on social media, especially because he had previously apologized to his teammates, as told by Berhalter. Could Berhalter be talking about McKennie apologizing? But the other thing we said to him was, you're going to have to apologize to the group, but it's going to have to say why you're apologizing, Berhalter said. It's going to have to go deeper than just guys, I'm sorry. And I prepped the leadership group with this. I said, okay, this guy's going to apologize to you as a group, to the whole team. And what was fantastic in this whole thing is that after he apologized, they stood up one by one and said, listen, it hasn't been good enough, you haven't been meeting our expectations of a teammate and we want to see change. They really took ownership of that process. And from that day on there were no issues with this player. McKennie, who last year missed a World Cup qualifying game for violating the team's COVID-19 policy, publicly apologized to the USMNT. Could this be what Berhalter referenced? The irony of the head coach's declarations are that it was to give examples of leadership. But many on Twitter agree that Berhalter, as a leader, should never have leaked such information.